Business Q&A is brought to you by iBurst Business.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's Business Q&A. The impact of the economic recession on stress levels of South Africans, and in particular, the bottom line of companies. Well, I'm joined now by Executive Director at InnerCents, which is a corporate training firm, and Meiron joins me now in studio. He's also the author of this book, which is called De-Stress. Meiron, let's first look at the impact of the recession on the productivity.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it has a severe effect on productivity at the moment, with stress levels, of course, going through the roof, and productivity gets affected. There's absolutely no doubt. With redundancies happening at the moment, the remaining employees are left with the increased workload, so they're working a lot longer hours. And with that, of course, stress levels goes up. And most of us don't know how to manage and reduce our stress levels. So many employees at the moment are finding that their stress levels are very high without the ability to cope with it. And of course, with what happens then is that the increase error rate starts to of course increase. When we're feeling stressed and tired, we can't be as productive as possible. And there's a concept called presenteeism, and that is when somebody's actually coming to work, they're sitting at their desk, but they're not very productive. And that's really the silent killer of productivity. When people are not productive, they're at work, and the cost is very, very difficult to measure. But it's certainly very, very rough in South Africa at the moment.
What are some of the things that companies are doing? Or are they actually aware of this in the first place?
They are. Most of them aren't doing a very good job. Stress does fall under the occupational health and safety regulations, but unfortunately, most companies aren't doing enough to help support their own employees with reducing their stress levels.
What should they be doing, though?
I think the responsibility is probably twofold. One is from the employer's perspective. Firstly, to really encourage a work-life balance. Working 14 hours a day is not productive. Having short breaks within the day and some time off actually is a productive thing to do. Many people think contrary. Supporting people. Socrates once said, know yourself, but I think from a corporate perspective, know your people. Find out what's troubling them, find out what's keeping them awake at night, and support them.
Let me interrupt you there, but it also requires a change in paradigm in terms of the way we think about productivity, and the bottom line in companies.
Absolutely. I think the missing link there is that a lot of organizations don't make the link between stress and productivity, and most importantly, profitability. Stress is a silent killer of profitability, because if you look at absenteeism rates in South Africa, 40% of absenteeism is due to stress-related causes.
Is stress only observable in what we call workaholics, the so-called workaholics?
No. People feel stress in a different way. Some people are quite overt with their behavior. You can see it all written all over their face when they're stressed. Other people feel it internally, and you wouldn't really know until you have a conversation with them.
Now, we've referred to this book that you've written. You talk about some of the techniques and the importance of de-stressing. From a corporate perspective, though, what do you think, what are the most important things that need to be done?
I think from an employer's perspective is really start to encourage two-way communication. So share information, what's happening. There's nothing worse than an employee not knowing if they're going to be made redundant. If they're not going to be made redundant, tell them that they're not going to be made redundant, because at the moment there's a big culture of fear in organizations, with people not knowing. And even if it's bad news, rather give the bad news than not share the information at all.
But even then, it's also difficult because an organization is never in a position. They don't plan so long term anymore. They have to implement strategies and plans as they happen.
Absolutely, and sometimes they don't know what's going to happen, so it's absolutely difficult. But I think it's knowing what you can and you can't control, and communicate what is known. The other important thing from an employer's perspective is to check with their employees of their degree of ability to actually perform the tasks. Often people get stressed because they don't know how to do the task. So check in on the how-to of employees to perform the task adequately.
All right, Meiron, we've run out of time, but your book, De-Stress, where can they find this?
It's at all exclusive bookstores around South Africa.
All right, Meiron, thank you so much for joining us.
That's really a pleasure. Thank you.
That's your Business Q&A for this evening. Thanks for watching, and good night.